I'm gonna make him an offer he can't refuse.
I'm not even supposed to be here today! Oh, fuck you!
Come on, you want me to drive? You're supposed to be suicidal. Remember, I'll
Anybody
drive.
a drive?
Get in the car.
Fuck me in the ass. Fuck you, you fucking stupid cunt.
Hey everyone, it's Don G. Corleone here, and you wanna know what I think of this fucking film? Okay, here's what I think of this fucking film. Here we go. Here's what I think of this. Here's what I think of this. Here's what I think of this film. You know what? There. Problem fucking solved. Yeah, that's what I think about easily what is Dane Cook, Jessica Alba's worst fucking movie they've done. Tear this piece of shit. Guard where it fucking belongs. Yeah, apparently. Yeah, of course this be so funny. So yeah. This rant is gonna be for 2007's Good Luck Motherfucking Chuck. So what is the plot of this film? Well, apparently this 30s dentist, Dr. Charlie Logan, he never experienced true love because he had many girlfriends over the years. Because apparently as a child he was cursed. This was a curse for him at this apparently, but beginning of the movie, where kids of all people were playing this kissing bottle game. Yeah, kids are actually playing that fucking game. Great idea to start off your comedy. So he gets a reputation at an ex-girlfriend's wedding, when she says that she met this new husband after a time with Charlie, and discovers that more women he slept with have met their true love soon afterwards. Then he's encouraged to exploit this good luck charm reputation by his longtime friend, that somehow is apparently a successful surgeon who should be in fucking prison, Dr. Stu. Yeah, because this guy is sex obsessed and sex starved. And the only reason why he's a plastic surgeon is because he wants to jerk off to tits. So how the fuck this guy's not fired, I don't fucking know. Charlie doesn't want to be solely a stepping stone for women, though. So he wants to find one true love. So he believes this woman of his dreams is Jessica Alba's character, this accident-prone woman named Cam who's just there to either be humiliated sexually or get injured or fall or slip. She's this penguin caretaker at the aquarium, which is literally the Vancouver Aquarium, just poorly disguised as some different area. Because literally half this film was shot in Vancouver, and they badly disguise it as some other place. Cam doesn't want to date Charlie, though, because of his reputation, for good fucking reason. Charlie doesn't want to sleep with Cam because he's certain she'll find true love after they do. Yep. There we go. And you know how the story's gonna go. Like, yeah. So you already know by my reaction to the intro, like, this is without a doubt one of the worst comedies of all time in my eyes. And I think of all the bad Cook comedies, this is by far the fucking worst of all of them. The only tolerable comedies he's done were Waiting, well, because to be fair, Now, he wasn't the lead star of that film. The lead stars of that film were Ryan Reynolds and Justin Long. He was only a small-time role in that movie. An Employee of the Month. I thought he was not bad in Employee of the Month. And honestly, Jessica Alba, how the fuck did you agree to be in a film like this? Like, this is an actress that, before starring this movie, starred in a 2005 film for Robert Rodriguez called Sin City, which got critical acclaim and success. It didn't get a good sequel, but it was a success with people. 2 years later to this. That's sad. So, yeah. When this movie got made, like, Good Luck Chuck was filmed from late September to mid-November 2006. And it was shot in Vancouver, British Columbia, and then partly like in Edmonton, Alberta. And the aquarium scene, using the film studio for the aquarium scenes in a neighborhood of the old Strathcona for shots. And Good Luck Chuck was a directorial debut of Helfrich, who was a longtime film editor by then. And I wonder why he hasn't done, I wonder why he hasn't done many other films since then. Weird. Probably because of how bad this movie was, they probably told him to never direct another fucking film again. Well, he probably never directed it. I don't remember anything else he directed. And one of the theatrical posters, not the one I'm using, was apparently parodied a Rolling Stone cover. So, the concept of this movie to begin with, why this film is shit, the concept is fucking ludicrous. It makes no sense. It's like this was written by some slimy frat boy teenager who probably just loves the idea of seeing boobs on every television show he watches. Right there. Or just anybody with a bad IQ. Because anybody with an actual brain would realize how idiotic this film is and would honestly never blow any time watching this piece of shit. Right there. And apparently, this is a main character that somehow is able to attract pretty girls to him. I really don't know why. With this curse, I don't know how people see this guy as attractive. When he just comes off as a stalker and actually douchey with his interactions with half of them. And hell, the opening scene of the movie is just uncomfortable and wrong. Because you start off with kids playing this bottle game where they have to go in a closet and kiss. And when you see like Dan Fogler's character as a child, one of the things he tries to say is, "I'll touch your boobs." Aren't these kids like 11 years old? And then it comes to Charlie's turn. And the goth girl literally asks Charlie to show her his dick. No! That's actually how the film starts. But she then forces herself onto him and puts the curse that sets up the plot of the film. 11-year-old kids don't act like this. Oh my god, I don't know what sicko came up with this idea. What sicko wrote this scene? And so pretty much now, apparently now because of this, every girl who is with Cook for one night then goes on to meet some other guy, then is split up with him, and predictability ensues, and his also unlikable friend really just makes the film drag with unfunny humor. Alba's just there to be constantly harassed and stalked. Most of the film, or either just be a clumsy accent klutz. So how does this start? Well, our Spin the Baller 7 Minutes of Heaven at a part this game that these 10-year-olds are playing. And Charlie refuses the sexual advances of the goth girl I've already described, and so she places a curse on him. Once a girl goes with him to the next, she'll be true. And so it cuts to present day, where he's now a successful dentist, and I don't know how the fuck him and this friend of his are successful doctors at all. Like, these definitely do not seem like the type of guys that would actually be successful surgeons. But they run a practice in the opposite of his best friend's plastic surgery business. And the first we see of Charlie is having sex on the beach with his current girlfriend, Carol. He cannot reply that he loves her too, and so she immediately breaks up with him. And then, of course, we meet Dr. Stu, who is literally a piece of shit friend there, because he pretty much causes most of the film's problems, and causes Charlie, is honestly a shitty friend, as he causes Charlie more problems, and often considers Charlie to do such the wrong things all the time, and only took the job so he could jerk off to a bunch of tits. Surprised neither any of these two are actually successful business people. These guys behave like annoying, unlikable shit teenagers, or just scumbag lead characters. I don't give a shit what happens to either of them. So they attend the wedding of one of Chuck's exes, and during the reception, she chose Chuck for being her charm, against the interest of many other table mates. He then becomes immediately attracted to this clumsy and attractive penguin scientist named Cam, who works at this marine mammal park, and when these two meet, literally, she accidentally spills a drink or breaks a glass on Charlie's pants, and when Stu comes to see the thing, literally, instead of being concerned for his friend, he fucking laughs and says, "Ha ha ha, looks like cum." That's why I said this guy's such a shitty friend. Right there, whenever he gives Charlie any advice, the advice just comes off as really annoying. Like this guy, this is a character. I despise Charlie as well, but I honestly despise this guy more. Due to the fact, like I've already said, this guy's vulgar, this guy's disgusting, this guy's rude, he's obnoxious, he's literally corrupt. Somehow, I don't buy this guy being a successful plastic surgeon. Causes half of Charlie's bad situations, a horrible excuse of a friend. Oh, and even literally, I think there's this gag where he mentions he often jerks off in a cantaloupe. Like, I'm surprised this guy's not fired. Or in prison. Like, this movie just scrapes the bottom of the barrel for inspiration. Like, this is a film that lasts over 101 minutes. And honestly, like, the females in this film, they're just numbskull morons. They're immediately driven opportunists, somehow see this guy as attractive and use Charlie as a stepping stone to the next guy. Or just accent-prone buffoons like Alba's character, who has bad chemistry with Dane Cook. Honestly, like, the two barely look like they even tolerate one another at all. And eventually, at one point, Alba starts to get fed up with Dane Cook frequently stalking her and keeps trying to get the fuck away from him. But he just ignores all that and keeps acting deranged lunatic. At the point where he starts doing illegal shit. And of course, you even get the scene with this endless unnecessary montages of Dane Cook and many of these girls he meets having sex for like 10 minutes. And we get the double standard of breasts and a typical nude exposed. And of course, this just did not work. This was not funny at all. And of course, like, one of the baddest scenes in the film was when Cook has a secretary, and it turns out this secretary ends up being just as stupid as plenty of the other female characters in the film. Because this secretary at one part comes on to Cook so she can sleep with him and thus be married. He's like, "You could go, my panties are edible. Please don't go near the ass area. I've been sitting for 30 hours. Like, I don't want to listen to comedy like this. I don't want to listen to dialogue like this in a comedy, in an R-rated comedy. Like, and then Cook's character switches from being freaked out to being loving, and the secretary falls for her immediately because she can be easily convinced by pretty words, apparently. And now, if this was a film starring Ryan Reynolds, then maybe I would buy this film a little more. You know, maybe if Ryan Reynolds was the one doing this comedy, I think maybe this film would have probably been slightly more tolerable. And then maybe I'd buy why all the female characters in this movie would be so attracted to this lead character. If it was Ryan Reynolds playing the character instead, then maybe I would buy it more. Right there. And not Dane Cook. Like, it's like, if you're gonna make a good romance flick, shouldn't you have stuff like a nice blend of humor, heart, romance, drama, realism, and maybe two lead characters that actually look like they tolerate being around each other? Good Luck Chuck doesn't have any of that. All you have is a bunch of excessive nudity, a bunch of pointless scenes, a bunch of unnecessary crude humor. Like, you have Fogler's character, Dr. Stu, joking about how he jerked off in a grapefruit and then microwaved it. And of course, physical humor in a matter of like 90-something minutes. And then of course, like, it really, besides all the annoying, cringy stuff, like, it just flounders from the beginning, it flops throughout, and reaches towards the climax, and of course, the ending is just a stupid outcome. You have missed opportunities that are more common than any times the movie tries to give you any laughs. So after meeting Cam for the first time, Chuck's office then becomes full of women and then asks Stu if anything's different about him. They find that Carol's engaged because of Chuck being a lucky charm. And so, his date then wants to have sex with Chuck because of the charm, but then he gets an emergency call from Cam, like, who apparently chipped her tooth in a work accident that's apparently caused by her brother, who literally then throws a piece of fish at her, and the fish slides down and causes her to trip and break her tooth. Right there, so Chuck fixes her tooth, but then instead of accepting payment, he literally instead asks her out to dinner. But Cam doesn't want to do that because she's not ready to date. Then he returns home for the receptionist scene, like I've already said, which is honestly also a very stupid bit with some more stupid dialogue about pennies being eatable. Then Stu encourages Chuck, so he goes to Stu for advice. Like I said before, this friend has such shitty advice because Stu encourages Chuck to go into more guilt-free sex. But Chuck still has feelings for Cam and tries to ask her out. Like, when he gets to this aquarium, meets again. Then when one little girl comes up to Cam, asks a penguin-related question. But then Charlie whispers to the girl's ear and has her ask why she will not go out with him. And then he tries to pat, and then of course, later on, what? No, that was a little girl's question. No, that was your question, you idiot. Don't try to act like you're fucking innocent. So eventually though, she agrees, but only as friends, but then, you know what's gonna happen, they're gonna fall in love. Because of course, that's gonna happen, that's gotta be predictable. Yep. So the relationship starts to deepen, but then Stu gives him a phone call. It's like, every woman you met, Chuck, they've gone on to get married. And then Chuck suddenly gets cold feet. He's like, I gotta go. I have an emergency. So, like, the main issue, Good Luck Chuck, it's unaware of what it even wants to be. It's unsure what kind of movie it wants to be then, and it ends up being just bad. Like, now the trailer does make it seem like it obviously be this romantic comedy or something, but you don't really get that here. And literally in the movie, all you see is just gross out, an attempt to arouse us or try to make us laugh with all the pointless porn amounts of nudity, and teach us about love by this wholesome male value, but it all backfires on there because the characters you don't give a shit about. The comedy is not funny. And honestly, most of the film in general is just boring. And this whole idea, and this whole plot in general just feels like a rape horror film. So that is apparently as marketed as a comedy. With this kind of story and this kind of lead character. Like, this was the director's first film. And I don't know what else he's directed since then, but I've never heard of whatever other else he has directed since this movie. I wouldn't be surprised, and I'm honestly not surprised I haven't heard what else he's directed since this film, because of how badly received this film was. And literally, what we get here is a movie that's literally just trying to be like all those other successful comedies of the 2000s. Films like The 40-Year-Old Virgin, films like Knocked Up, films like Wedding Crashers, films like Old School. They're R-rated comedies because those films back when they came out, around the time this came out, those films were making money. They clearly tried to do that here. Except this time around, nobody cared. There were better comedies in 2007. Superbad? That was better than this film. Like, that was ridiculously raunchy, but guess what? You want to know what Superbad was? It was well directed. It was well written. It was very well thought out and had a good story. It had a good message. Right there. Yeah, the characters, like Jonah Hill was douchey and Superbad. Except the difference was he actually still was a love-to-hate kind of douchebag. Who actually was still funny. Dane Cook in this film, Dan Fogler in this film, they're not funny. They're just insufferable. And you don't like either of them as soon as they're introduced. And somehow, you don't buy why the hell these guys are even so successful in the first place, because these definitely do not seem like the kind of people that would ever get a job as a dentist or a surgeon. Like, at all. Like, ugh. And of course, you get the predictable. She's going to break up with him, but then they're going to reconcile in the end. And this is worse, because this guy did nothing to deserve her back. So, once Chuck gets the call, Stu and Chuck decide they have to test a curse on this obese lady who's apparently rude and not hygienic. They see that she's obviously not seen anyone, because of how rude she is. So him and her go on this date, and she sees him obnoxiously. Chuck's about to throw up. Then they get it on, and then he's showering like crazy. And then he makes Stu ask her out. So Chuck has to pretend to be sick and maintain a distant relationship with Cam by phone and computer video. Then Stu confirms he asked her out, but Eleanor hasn't fallen for him. So Chuck goes to Cam's place, and they finally get it on. And it seems like, wow, things apparently seem like they're going to go so well for our asshole protagonist, but predictably so, because of movies like this, turns out the truth's going to come out the next morning, and Chuck sees the woman on TV. They try to make Stu ask out with another man. And so he's like, Stu, I can't believe you lied to me. And he's like, I only pretended to ask her out. Yeah, like, this guy is such a dumb fucking friend. Like, another scene I forgot to mention about this guy. There's this scene where Cook and him are in this park with a frisbee, and they're saying still saying their obnoxious language, like, yeah, in a park where kids go to play. And then, one part, Fogler throws the frisbee at the back of an old woman's head. The old woman is obviously pissed, and like, Fogler doesn't even sound like he gives a fuck. It's like, my bad, could you help throw that back to me, please? But guess what? Maybe instead of throwing, she instead just steals the frisbee and puts it in her purse. Like, it would have made the scene better if maybe she did throw the frisbee back, but actually hit him in the head in return. I think that'd be better. Like, I kind of wish she did throw it back at him, but didn't throw it. She actually threw it at his head to hit him with it. Would have been better if he got hit in the head with the frisbee instead. But either way, at least she steals it and does not give it back to him either way. So at least he loses a frisbee. And so he decides that he thinks Cam's not going to find her true love. So right there, the first thing he does is wake her up, says, I made you a whole bunch of food. I went to the supermarket. I couldn't find Spam, but the manager said that they're not going to have it till next week. But here you all go. Puts food all over her fucking bed. How is she supposed to get out of that? But then that doesn't work. That does not work. He blames Stu for that. Obviously, even though you blame Stu for that, but you're not any better. You do all these annoying attempts. You act douchey with the girls you have this time with. Right there, you're not any better person at all. And especially because this guy then later keeps on stalking her by having these old guys come sing Crazy in Love and they can present him in a penguin costume. And then it gets worse to the point where she sees him with this other guy that he thinks she's dating. Even though he knows nothing about the guy, he runs up and beats him up, assaults him, and says, hey, don't marry him, he's an asshole, don't marry an asshole. And then of course, he tries to go, then he goes into the penguin exhibit, and it falls, and the penguins peck him, and then one penguin actually pecks him in the dick. Good. The one compliment he gets. For literally, that's technically his own. And he complains about what? I'm literally not. These penguins know I'm not fish. Well, it's your fault for getting into their habitat in the first place. And she finally breaks up with them for being such an annoying stalker and frequently harassing her with all these stupid attempts to woo her. So he talks to his secretary one day, and so he sees his ball spin in the ground and reminds him of the curse he got in his childhood. So he and Stu, I don't know how you're still friends with this guy at this rate. They go to the goth girl's home all grown up. He asks Anisha to remove the curse, but she insists that it's not truly real. And her love back then was just a childhood crush, so Anisha encourages him to let go of the girl he's interested in if he truly loves her, But of course, it's going to play out like a rom-com where they resolve their differences. But the plot is just useless. Right there. Like, a guy having sex with a woman, then afterwards, that woman finds the man of her dreams and gets married. That is really a plot of stupidity at best. Even if it's not meant to be taken seriously, but even so, the film was 101 minutes, but it feels too long to be 101 minutes. Because it's over cliched, over moronic, and poorly made, and badly acted, and I'm surprised this is a film that even got greenlit in the first place. So we get on to the cliched finale, where Chuck arranges for Cam to meet Howard Blaine, who's the penguin expert and author that she admires, as we find out throughout the film. Meanwhile, Stu has now gotten engaged to apparently a 3-breasted girl named Laura. And they tell him, Cam's going to Antarctica, so now's your chance to go try to reconcile with her. So, Chuck goes to the plane, and when he gets on the plane, he pleads not to go. Don't go, don't marry Howard. But Cam literally explains that she's just back on Wednesday and is literally going with Howard and his wife. So it turns out Howard's actually engaged. Her and Howard are not dating each other. Wow. How predictable. Where have we seen this reveal before? Oh, a lot of times. So Chuck leaves Cam with the ring box of the pebble, which was this discussion I had earlier. And then, of course, she's like, okay, I'll take you back, and they kiss. Why the fuck would you take this guy back? This is a guy that kept being creepy with you, made you go out to dinner with him. Oh, what else can I think about? Made a bunch of food and put it all on your bed, and then kept harassing you at fucking work. Oh, and then broke into a penguin exhibit. And then beat up a guy you were friends with, which is assault. Such fucking shitty writing. But Arisha then pulls out her old childhood box and removes the pin from a voodoo doll of Chuck, and so then it cuts to Chuck and Cam in Antarctica. And look at Southern Lights while surrounded by penguins, and when they kiss, their tongues get stuck together, and they fucking end. But during the closing credits, like Stu and Laura house sitting for Chuck, and they find a sex tape involving Chuck, Cam, and a stuffed penguin. Happy ending for everyone, right? No. Horrible ending. You know what would be better? Cam doesn't take him back. She goes to security, calls 911, Chuck gets arrested, and then Chuck accidentally rats Stu out. And then the patients all find out about what a creep Dr. Stu is. So the police investigate Stu. He goes to fucking jail as well. They all go to jail for 20 years to life. Better ending. And and Cam also files a restraining order never to come near her again. That'd be a better end. I wish that was how the movie ended in my eyes. But that's a depressing for comedy. No. This character did nothing to deserve her. He was not a likable person. His friend was also an equal piece of shit. These guys should not have even been surgeons in the first place. Because surgeons and dentists do not behave like this. So that'd be better. I wish both of them actually got exposed and both of them went to prison. Where they belong. And they don't get happy endings. It's like watching a bad Family Guy episode. Wherever Peter Griffin does anything wrong, or does any despicable crime, people applaud him and they reward him for it. It feels like you're watching a bad Family Guy episode of today's era. I could bet you Family Guy would probably have an episode like this. If they could make an episode like this, they probably would make it. Now, would I have any good qualities for the film? No. I wouldn't have any good qualities for the film. The only good qualities I like are when either, I guess if there was one, maybe wherever Chuck or Stu do get some form of humiliation, which is rare in the film. Like the scene where Chuck gets attacked by the penguins was pretty satisfying. I'll admit that. That was definitely kind of satisfying to watch. But that was about it. Because Good Luck Chuck is easily, to my eyes, one of the worst comedies of all time. So in the end, Good Luck Chuck is horse shit that I highly recommend nobody watch if you're a fan of comedies of the 2000s, because this tries to be like those successful movies and fails at even doing that. Anyways, guys, that's it for my epic rant on Good Luck Chuck. If you're wondering how I'm going to rate Good Luck Chuck, here's how I'm going to rate this movie. So overall, if you are a fan of comedy, then you're better off not watching this at all, because this is nothing but horse shit. And if you're wondering how I'm going to rate Good Luck Chuck, I'm going to give Good Luck Chuck a 0 out of 10. Alright, there we go, guys. That wraps up my epic rant for Good Luck Chuck. And keep in mind, guys, this only cost me $1 from a games and collectibles store. This was only $1. This was only $1, guys. So there is at least that. But there we go. Now I want to know in the comments down below what you guys thought about Good Luck Chuck. And until then, that'll be it for this review. Thank you all for watching. And if you like this, want to see more, don't forget to like, subscribe to Don G. Corleone.